Welcome, everyone. I'm Catherine Gregory, co-founder of Modern Wisdom Press, and I'm really excited about this interview today with author Laurie Arron. She passionately serves as a trusted advisor and executive coach to C-suite leaders and their chiefs of staff. And Laurie has written and launched a book just in the last couple of weeks called Who Has Your Back? Laurie, welcome.
Thank you, Catherine. I'm so happy to be here.
Will you hold that up again, Laurie?
Yes, with pleasure.
A leader's guide. Yes, a leader's guide to getting the support you deserve. You need
by a chief of staff. Yeah.
Yes. So I love this whole world that you're in. And, it is so interesting to, think of a chief of staff. Like most people understand chief of staff as something in the White House. But as someone who really has the back of these top leaders and CEOs that you're working with. So can you tell us a little more about what inspired you to write this book? I know you have a background as being a chief of staff too. So I would love just to hear, or for you to share a little bit about your story of being a chief and what inspired you to do this coaching and work that you do today.
You bet. I'd be happy to. I've been asked that question quite a bit. Why did I write this book? And the truth is, I wrote the book that I longed to read. I was a chief of staff at AT&T for a number of years for several different leaders on the executive team. And there's no playbook for that role. And yet it's such an important role, supporting leaders who are doing extraordinary things in the world and have high expectations associated with their roles. And being the number two to that leader and their work is a really, really privileged role. So I know that I felt that way about the role. So I wrote the book to help others understand the role and the dynamic between a leader and his or her chief of staff. It is a very misunderstood space. You're right that the essence of the chief of staff started way back in old military days. It was a different role then, but it was essentially a number two. And now it's in commercial businesses, and it's very popular in certain sectors like technology and finance, healthcare, et cetera. But it's still misunderstood. People don't quite know what it is. It's often seen as a glorified executive assistant, which it's not. It is absolutely not that role. So I wrote the book for a CEO or a C-suite leader to understand how a chief can help them in their roles reach the fullest expression of themselves as leaders. And it's also benefiting quite a few chiefs of staff who are understanding what their leader is experiencing. So the book is written to really illuminate that success story. And then assuming that you agree, you could benefit from a chief of staff. It articulates how to go find one and hire them and ignite that relationship, because it is just that. It is a relationship. So I'm eager to get it out into the world. I've received some wonderful reception so far, and I'm feeling very grateful for that.
Congratulations. Yes, I know that you just launched and had a huge successful launch with the book, and your work is really about this relationship. I know that you coach both the executives and the leaders and their chiefs. And so I'm curious if you can just tell us a little more about your coaching and what that looks like when you're working one-on-one with a partnership like this.
Sure. So I grew up at AT&T, essentially. I feel very privileged to grow up there. It's a wonderful company. And I saw a lot of different experiences while working there. I lived in 6 different cities and had many different leaders, bosses and supervisors and assignments and whatnot. So I saw a lot of different challenge in my career. And then, as I said, I had the honor of serving the senior leaders as chief of staff. But I'm also a deeply certified executive coach. I became passionate about coaching, maybe 10 years into my career. And so I went off and got all the certifications needed to be able to show up in the world as a coach and learn the different methodologies around leadership coaching, et cetera. And I applied that to the work I was already doing at AT&T. So it only made sense when I retired, or rewired, I say, from AT&T, that I showed up in the world doing what I love, which is coaching, and serving people that I have passion for, the work they do, and a space that I know really well. I mean, I have 30 years at AT&T, and so much of the work and the coaching work I bring my clients is a combination of just that, the 30 years that I had at AT&T, and then also my ability to coach and even consult a little bit. I had one client say to me literally the other day, you're giving me the 3 C's, a little bit of coaching, a little bit of consulting, and a little bit of chiefing. And so I've wrapped all that up now to bring to my clients and what they need most.
That's beautiful, Laurie. Yeah, that really helps to succinctly explain what it is that you're doing, and the breadth of your expertise and the role that you play in helping coach these partnerships. And I love inside the book, you have so many wonderful examples of client stories and case studies of these partnerships, what's working, what isn't working, and how the executives can really troubleshoot the relationship if they already have one, or go find the right person to be their chief. You have so many valuable resources in this book. And I think one of the things that, busy leaders, one of the things you say in your book is that, the getting back the command of your time and energy is like the most important thing for them to be able to really thrive in their role as a leader. So can you talk a little bit about those key points you make about time, and then navigating these complex relationships with the number 1 and the number 2 that you're serving and coaching?
Sure, you bet. So there are many outcomes when you're properly supported by a chief of staff. There are many outcomes that you benefit from. Time management, energy management is just one of them. And I'll talk about that because it's the one that we all share. We all have the same amount of time each day, but we all don't use our time the same way each day. And what I have found with the clients that I'm supporting is when they are properly supported by a chief of staff who's truly effective in their role, as the leader, you get more time back in your day to be working on the things that matter most to you, your biggest priorities, your big rocks, the things that only you should be driving. And you're not in the minutia, managing calendars, getting into the details that can certainly be dealt with by others. So I find that a chief who really knows how to navigate all of that for you and understands your needs can help you do that. And when you're out of the lane, they can bring you back in the lane. So that is an outcome that is realized by almost every single one of my clients. And I think it's not a little thing, right? It's a big chunk of time that you get back to focus your energy. I like to say working in your genius. The other thing that I have found chiefs do very well with their leaders is they challenge their thinking. They become a thought partner, a strategic thought partner to offer more perspectives to a leader, the ones that they may not see because they're not in the weeds of their organization. So a strong chief will know how to bring that feedback and that lens to a leader and how to do that artfully. And I do mean that artfully. You really have to know how to use the time with your leader and talk about what matters most and not waste time either. So when that happens, leaders make better decisions. They make more informed decisions. They can have a second set of eyes on critical decisions they're making. So, I like to think about it as having someone in your corner. And the power of the pair is not a new thing. You see, presidents and vice presidents, you see golfers and caddies, you see surgeons and nurses and pilots and co-pilots. The power of the pair is everywhere. Why is it any different in business? So, to me, it's less about, do you want to have a pair and will the pair do more than the individuals in the setup? It's more about how can you really make that relationship sing? How can you create magic so that 1 + 1 = 3 or 11 versus just 2? And that's what I've been able to see with my clients. So I've now dedicated my entire practice to helping leaders and chiefs drive the impact that they should be driving.
I love that, Laurie. And I think you have an online a course or some kind of coaching program that goes along with your coaching. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so there's three ways people work with me. One is in a one-on-one capacity. So a CEO may hire me on these topics or any topic that a CEO may be dealing with. Chiefs of staff can also hire me as a one-on-one coach, so I can work with either. I also work with them together. So I have an offer where I literally coach both the CEO and the chief in the same engagement. I meet with them separately, but the agenda is very bespoke to what is most important to that mission or that initiative. So independently, together. And then I have a group offering called Chief Space Boardroom, where I take a select number of chiefs through a year-long agenda. It's like a mastermind where it's a bit coaching, it's a bit teaching, and it's very much a network of high flame dialogue. So we meet regularly, both in person and on Zoom, and I help these chiefs reach peak impact for their leader. And then they have their own community while they're in the membership with me for a year. So that's new. We just built that again at the request of clients. But those are the three ways that people work with me. And of course, buying the book is another way.
I love that. You have so many great resources, Laurie. How can people find you? What is your website?
Sure. It's lauriearron.com. 2 R's, no A's. 2 R's, not 2 A's. So lauriearron.com. My book is being sold on Amazon. Who Has Your Back? A Leader's Guide to Getting the Support You Need by the Chief of Staff You Deserve. And I'll give you a little spoiler alert. There's another book coming out early next year that is geared toward the chief, helping the chief really hit the ground running in the first 90 days of their role, which is foundational. So I'm excited to meet both of the members of the audience with, advice that I hope makes them successful.
That's so wonderful, Laurie. Thanks so much for all that you're offering and all you're doing. And I'm so excited to see what comes with this book being available to a global market now. And that's wonderful.
Thank you. Can I just say this about you and Nathan? I would not have been able to bring this book into the world without the support of both of you and Modern Wisdom Press. The journey is a really interesting one and an intimate one. And I felt very held by both of you, helping me navigate the process. And I could not have done that without the help and support of your organization. So I am deeply grateful for the partnership.
Thank you so much, Laurie. You were a joy to work with. And it was so fun watching you bring all of your knowledge and expertise into this fun, fast read that you said your goal was to have people be able to read it on a flight. Like you don't have to, have a long time, blocked off from your calendar to read it. You can get it done in a flight and really gain a lot of great tools. So super thoughtful of your reader as you put this book together. And it's just a fun, fast read, and it's chock full of valuable resources.
Thank you. And thank you to us, right? We did this together. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you so much for joining me, Laurie.
Thank you, Catherine.